My TBR is feeling a little overwhelming to me, and the only thing that makes me feel better about that is looking at other people's TBRs. Hello lovely people, it's Nicole, and today we're going to talk about TBRs. So there are a couple challenges this year that I'm participating in an attempt to get my TBR smaller or non-existent. I don't think I want a completely non-existent TBR. And so this year I am participating in both Project TBR and 0x16. Project TBR is just sort of a general attempt to shrink your TBR, and 0x16 is trying to get your TBR to 0 by 2016. I will link announcement videos, and I think 0x16 has a Twitter page. 0x16 was created by a number of people whose channels I will link below, and Project TBR was created by Ben over at BenjaminofTomes. Along with these challenges to help me get my TBR down, I also have this challenge in this little honey deek jar. This is something I found on Tumblr. I think it's from Pop Sugar originally. I've heard a couple other people talking about doing this, including Raylene over from Padfoot and Prongs. So I will link the original page with this challenge down below. Basically the idea is that, there are 50 little challenges or like book things, and I just gonna draw one out, and it tells you a type of book. This one is a book you were supposed to read in school but didn't, and so I then choose a book I was supposed to read in school but didn't. Some of these I might just sort of draw out when I know I'm reading a book that fits it. For example, I think one of them is like a book that made you cry, and so obviously that's not really one I can predict, other than, oh, I should pick up like a Gail Forman book or the last book in one of my favorite series. But other than that, I think mostly these will be drawn out, so that should be fun. Hopefully I can get through all 50 of these by the end of the year. So that's the goal. I set my Goodreads reading goal at 100 books this year. Last year I got to about 110. I had set it at 80 and then bumped it up once I passed that. I know it's kind of high, but I tend to have a lot of spare time on my hand, although I am a bit worried because if all goes according to plan, I will be going off to college this year in 2015, which is a really scary thing to think about. But that is the goal. I will adjust it as needed later. Now, let's get into my TBR. So my TBR shelf has 35 books in it, and then I have a couple more books that I haven't read but want to, sort of scattered throughout bookshelves. For example, I have Dune up here, which I want to read, but for some reason I just put it on my bookshelf instead of on my TBR shelf. And I know 35 is comparatively to some other people not huge. It's definitely a realistic goal to get it down to 0 by the end of the year if I stop myself from buying 500 books, which may be a problem. Now let's talk about what books I have on my TBR. Guilt by Catherine Longshore. Graceling by Kristen Cashore. The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams-Chima. Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. Proxy by Alex London. Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. Rooms by Lauren Oliver. Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. Talon by Julie Kagawa. Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce. Asylum by Madeline Rowe. Evil Librarian by Michelle Knudsen. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Ruby Red and Sapphire Blue by Kristen Gear. 21 Proms edited by David Levithan. Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher. Sweep Volume 1 by Kate Tiernan. Say What You Will by Cami McGovern. Girl Online by Zoe Sugg. Jacoby by William Ritter. The Alchemist by Michael Scott. The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. Unearthly by Cynthia Hand. The School of Good and Evil by Soman Shinani. Winterspell by Claire Legrand. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. Every Day by David Levithan. Just One Day by Gail Forman. Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by April Genevieve Chuchok. So that is my TBR. Like I said, there are a couple more random books just sort of scattered throughout bookshelves. But those are sort of the immediate ones I've bought and need to get on reading. Mostly the ones that are scattered throughout bookshelves that I haven't read are classics. So those aren't really as far up on my immediate list. So that is it from me today. Let me know if you are participating in Project TBR 0x60, the Pop Sugar reading challenge, or any other interesting reading challenges this year. I love you, and I will see you later.